Legal experts have attacked the cuts to workers' compensation, calling them a breach of faith. The reforms passed through state parliament in the early hours of the morning. After a noisy protest yesterday, firefighters and paramedics won an exemption. But critics are concerned that other workers will bear the cost, which they say should be shared by businesses and insurance companies. Deborah Rice reports.
Firefighters were back on duty today, secure in the knowledge that they'd won an exemption from tightened workers' compensation laws. It was almost 3 o'clock this morning when the bill was finally passed, and by then some were showing the strain.
Well, then remove me from the House.
Speak to the motion that's before the House.
The Christian Democrats joined the Greens in the upper house to make sure the fire brigade and paramedics were given the same reprieve as police.
Clearly, these laws take workers backwards. The fact that they've made any exemptions at all, I think, proves that.
The government had argued for urgent reform on the grounds that the WorkCover scheme was paying out too much and getting into billions of dollars of debt. The Premier insists under the new scheme the most seriously injured workers will be paid more, while cutting compensation to others will make them return to work faster.
Did put in place what I think is the most important part of the reform, a work capacity test, because ultimately if people can go back to work, that's good for them.
The bills as they've passed Parliament last night significantly reduce access to medical care and rehabilitation for injured workers. It really provides a power imbalance that greatly favours the insurance companies over the workers.
Unions say true reform would have put the onus on employers and insurers to help with rehabilitation.
They don't really have any responsibility to find suitable duties for workers who are trying to come back into the workforce after an injury. And that's where we think a focus should have been.
Business has welcomed the cuts but agrees more changes are needed.
The primary focus of any changes should be about everybody involved in the system working together to get an injured worker back to work as quickly as possible.
The new legislation will be reviewed in 2 years. Deborah Rice, ABC News, Sydney.